We are live, Broncos country. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Got an excellent live show on a Friday for you. Feels weird going live on a Friday, but as we get into these off-season dates, you'll find that our schedules get a little bit more wonky. There's a lot more different planning going around. We got new guys at Chat Sports that we're trying to kind of mold into the next Legion of Boom, essentially, here for our hosts and our producers. So it's just going to be a kind of a hodgepodge of dates thrown around. And basically, every time we get breaking news, we'll go live as well. My name is Moose. In case you are brand new to the channel, welcome in. Let's start off, as we do every single live show, with a question. Producer Gage on the ones and twos today has one perfectly placed. That's a good way of putting it. Placed or geared up for you. The franchise tag date is coming up here on February 17th. At the time of this recording, that is 4 days away. Will the Denver Broncos franchise tag a player on the 17th or in that 2-week window from the 17th to the 3rd? Here's the cool thing. If you want your name shouted out by yours truly, get down and answer that question down in the live chat. I'm giving shout-outs for the first couple of minutes here while we are live. What's going on, Dylan? Good to see you, buddy. Mr. Sullivan, great to see you back here. He says he wants Waddle and Pickens. I don't know if you can get both. You can get one. Dylan saying J.K. Dobbins. Well, you can't franchise tag an unrestricted free agent, can you? I don't think so. No, you can't franchise tag an unrestricted free agent. Dennis says definitely. Michael Ronquillo. You can't, the Broncos can't franchise tag George Pickens. Ooh. Vel coming in with a franchise tag on JFM. Interesting. Can't franchise tag J.K. Dobbins, guys. And you can't franchise tag George Pickens. Is there a player on the Broncos that you would franchise tag? Not named J.K. Dobbins, because you can't. Keon, it's good to see you, man. Franchise tag on Aiden Hutchinson. Well, he plays for the Lions, so it'd be kind of tough to franchise tag him from the Broncos end. You know what franchise tag means? That's the real question. Yes, they do. I think could you franchise tag Jaquan McMillan? I guess technically because he's a restricted free agent. So yeah. What? You can tag an unrestricted free agent?
So I guess it's okay with the same Dobbins.
I guess you can. I was wrong.
There's a first.
Let me take a look here real quick at something. What is the franchise tag number for... What is the franchise tag number for the running back position this year? $14 million. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. If you franchise tag J.K. Dobbins, you have to pay him $14 million this year, or right up next to it. So, no, I'm not paying J.K. Dobbins $14 million a year. Sorry. What's the difference between restricted and non-restricted? Unrestricted means they are free to go sign wherever they want. All they have to do is literally work that deal out with their agent. Restricted means that the team has the rights to your contract, and if another team makes an offer, the Broncos can match it. So let's say, for example, the Cowboys say we want Jaquan McMillan, and we're going to offer him $15 million a year. The Broncos have the first option to match that and sign J.K. Dobbins to that specific contract. Yeah, we are not paying J.K. Dobbins $14 million a year, guys. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I'd pay Breece Hall that kind of money. Maybe, but $14 million a year is crazy. All right, before we continue on with what we've got coming up on today's show, I do have to remind you guys that we're here. Take two. I do have to remind you that we are in the middle of giving away a big-time hat here on the Denver Broncos Breakdown channel. So you get your Broncos Breakdown hat if you want to get in on it. But I've decided, Mr. Gage, on the ones and twos, I've decided I'm adding to this deal. What am I adding to this deal? Your Denver Drinking Team t-shirt, exclusively for St. Patrick's Day. Top of the morning to ya. Else you could see I got my Irish jacket on as well. I'm in the mood for some drinking with the Denver Drinking Team. So this originally is $30, $29.99. You can get it if you send in a $5 super chat. You can get 2 entries onto the wheel. We will add the Denver Drinking Team t-shirt to this, as well as a Broncos Breakdown hat, which you could get for as low as $5 if your name is spun and won at the very end of the month of February. So if you send $5, you'll get 2 entries onto the merch wheel. If you send in a $10 super chat, you will get 4 entries onto the merch wheel. $20 gets you 8. If you send in a $50, not only are we going to bang, but we're going to get you 20 entries on the merch wheel. Danny Caudle, it is great to see you, my friend. Legend of the channel. I've got... Yeah, of course. It should be in the copy if you have it. I got it. I can do it. It's in the copy for segment 2, so hold on. I think. Nope, it's right here. I got it. Here comes the Denver Drinking Team. Here you go. Putting it in. It's in the live copy, by the way, of Gage, if you want it. I'll put it at the top of the doc. Burn down the house. There we go. Do you see it right below Prize Picks? Michael says, what about a $100 super chat? Michael, if you send in a $100 super chat, I will personally buy you the Denver Drinking Team t-shirt. Personally buy it for you. And I will send it via my own money if you send in a $100 super chat.
Merry Moosemas.
I will spend my hard-earned cash on Michael. I will send it directly to his house. Hey, Big G Phoenix. What's up, brother? What about J.L. Skinner? Yes, he's an absolute special teams monster. And needs to play next year. What do you think? You mean starting at safety? I don't know, but I would bring him back for sure. Because think about it. We're going to get Brandon Jones back. You'll have Talanoa Funga and Brandon Jones. That's the best safety tandem right there. But I would absolutely keep J.L. Skinner for special teams purposes. Dion Sharp. Caden Ellis. Dude, if we got Caden Ellis, I'm telling you, man, the Ellis brothers on this team go ballistic.
Now that goes hard. That goes hard.
Who is your underrated Bronco to watch out for next season? Underrated Bronco to watch out for next season. Q Robinson. Q Robinson's going to be an animal. I'm telling you right now, from what I saw this year, that guy's got a bright, bright future. So watch out heavily for Q Robinson. DB4L, boys and girls. So coming up, but I have to answer Big Phoenix's. What about JL Skinner? He's a dog, and he needs to play this next year. What do you think? Definitely on special teams. He's a special teams monster. He's an excellent special teams player. I don't know about starting because you have Brandon Jones and Talanoa Hufanga, but I would absolutely bring him back because he fits the culture. Everybody loves him, and he is a great special teams player. So bring him back for sure. Big Phoenix also says he wants Justin Jefferson. I would jump around. I'd do a little Irish jig if we got Justin Jefferson. If we decided to send the money to get, or the draft capital to get our guy, Justin Jefferson, for sure. Mr. Sullivan says Breece Hall goes to KC. I would hate that. Go get Garrett Wilson. I don't know if Garrett Wilson's up for grabs. Maybe he is. Needs to play even more. Skinner, more playing time. All right, coming up on today's show, We got good draft news. We got some Broncos future deals. We've got some John Franklin-Myers stuff to talk about, all encompassed in one great live show just for you guys. We're going to start with the Broncos future deals because that's the most recent news. We'll also touch on some coaching stuff here in this episode. And by the way, I have the Denver Broncos bringing back a wide receiver legend to fill out one of their coaching roles. I'm going to keep it hush-hush on this little part of it. You're going to have to stay tuned to watch that, as well as the good draft news surrounding comp picks, and if the Broncos decide to move up in the draft to grab some players, Jeremiyah Love, please. I'm going to talk about that as well, and then, of course, we'll talk about John Franklin-Myers on the very back half of today's live show. I will do this. Are you ready? Because it's Friday. Yep. We're going to Chili's tonight. It's a little Chili's triple dipper action, Gage.
Baby back,
Baby back. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. If there's a $20 super chat that comes in, yep, I'll take down a beer bong.
Hey,
I'll take down a beer bong, $20 super chat, and how about this? Instead of 8 wheel entries, I'll give you 10 wheel entries. So 10 wheel entries, and you get a beer bong. What do you think?
Massive deal there, Moose. I gotta say, I love it.
I love it too, man. I really do. I do. Danny Galvin, good to see you, man. Dundee Awards at Chili's. That's a nice little Office reference. I love it.
I love that.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Chili's baby back ribs. Big Phoenix, you got 2. You got 2 entries for the super chat. So I'm putting you down for 2, Big Phoenix. We'll talk about Kenyon Sadiq on this as well. All right, are you ready? Well, let's talk about some Broncos future deals first. But remember, for the remainder of the stream, that $20 super chat definitely is in play. It is in play. All right. You ready there, Gager?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Pardon me. It's Friday, guys. I am... how do you super chat, says Mike. There is a little $ and symbol down below, Mike. If you click on it, it will ask you to put in a message and then attach a price to whatever that message is. That's how you super chat. We greatly appreciate anything you could donate to the channel because it allows us to get more stuff for you guys to give away on the channel. With that being said, are you ready, Mr. Gage?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Broncos country, let's talk about some recent Broncos news. The Broncos have signed 12 players to futures contracts here in 2026. Now, what is a futures contract? By the way, welcome into the channel. My name is Moose. A futures contract is very simply put, players that you sign to compete for the 53-man roster. So they will allow themselves, or the Broncos will allow them, to compete in training camp all the way through preseason, so essentially locking them in for the summer to compete for a chance at the 53-man roster. And all 53 of them, or excuse me, all 12 of them, will compete for the 53-man roster. And practice squad players are very important because every once in a while, you will find a diamond in the rough. You'll find a hidden gem on the practice squad that once you elevate them, they absolutely go ballistic. So here's what I'm going to ask you really quick. Let's just get it out of the way. Name a practice squad player you want to see next year. Do me a favor and let me know down in the comment section down below. You guys know what my answer is. It's always Lavelle Bailey. But that's all I'm going to say for right now. Let's talk about these futures contracts. So 12 players have been signed to the Denver Broncos. Cody Schrader, Deuce Vaughn, Caleb Lohner, Michael Dieter, Calvin Throckmorton, Marquise Cox, Nash Jones, Christian Williams, Jordan Miller, Garrett Nelson, Lavelle Bailey, my GOAT, and cornerback Jaden Robinson all will compete for a chance at the 53-man roster. Now, obviously, all of these players will not be elevated to the 53, and some of these guys will end up getting cut before 53-man roster cutdowns, which is like the end of August, believe it or not. But there is one player that I believe not only is going to make the 53, I bet you he sees significant playing time in 2026, and that's Lavelle Bailey. And I make jokes all the time about how much I love Lavelle Bailey, but I really do believe this kid is an untapped, just freight train waiting to come in and make his mark on this team. He's been with the Broncos now for a couple of seasons, and he's just kind of been biding his time over there on the practice squad. And I've been on that hype train for quite some time when it comes to Lavelle Bailey. I think now, with the free agency situation surrounding the Denver Broncos linebackers, you'll see him get a chance to show what he's good at. And the thing that he's best at is the exact antithesis and the exact opposite of Alex Singleton. And I love Alex Singleton. But Lavelle Bailey is excellent in pass coverage. Like, unbelievable. Alex Singleton's more of a pressure player. He's getting old there. He's a liability in pass coverage. Now, Dre Greenlaw's good at everything, and Justin Stranad and Singleton are both free agents. So you could see both of them, at least one of them, in my opinion. I think Stranad is gone. But I do believe you could see a chance where two of these guys end up leaving Denver and explore other options elsewhere. I mean, it's all going to come down to the paper and the options that other teams get them. So what about Lavelle Bailey screams ready for the moment? Well, like I told you guys, the guy can play on special teams. The guy is excellent in dropping into pass coverage. He's not as strong as I would like quite yet, and maybe that'll never be his game, so he'll never be one of those players that is just rough and tough, gritty at the line of scrimmage. But can he survey the middle of the field? Can he stop players within 2 to 3 yards? I think the answer is obviously yes. And he's super athletic, hyper vigilant, hyper fast. I mean, he's like a sleeker, slimmer version and a better pass coverage version of Alex Singleton. And that's what I love. I love the fact that, we can flip up that linebacker position, and who knows what's going on with Drew Sanders. The guy is never available. So I think Lavelle Bailey is primed to get onto the field next season. Another player that I'm really looking forward to seeing that also signed a futures contract is our 7th-round pick in the 2025 draft, and that'd be Caleb Lohner. Now, Lohner's a unique player in the fact that he really didn't play college football. He played one season, and he had like 4 total receptions. I do predict, though, that he'll make the 53 next year. Now, what his role looks like on the 53 remains to be seen. He might just be sort of a extra blocker. He might be a distractor-type player. He might just be a red zone threat. But again, I've said this multiple times here on the channel. You cannot teach 6'7", 6'7". 7th-round pick out of Utah in the 2025 NFL Draft. We knew he was a project, not a prospect. We knew that Sean Payton saw the athletic traits and was like, I can mold this. I can turn this into the next Jimmy Graham. And only playing one season of college football, it was a very slim to none chance that he was going to make the 53 in 2025. But if I look at the Broncos tight end depth chart, there's room for Lohner on this depth chart. Absolutely. With Adam Troutman most likely leaving the Broncos, he's a cut candidate, as well as a free agent that could explore the market. Lucas Kroll I would keep on, as well as Nate Atkins, but there should be no reason that Lohner can't be your tight end 3 or tight end 4. No reason whatsoever. So I think 1 year under the system, 1 year learning, 1 year developing his skills as a college football player, I could absolutely see him getting onto the 53-man roster. So if you think so as well, and you're going to be around for training camp, and you're going to be around for preseason, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you're going to stick around for next season and you want to see the Broncos win a Super Bowl, it starts in July. It starts in June. It starts in April and in March in the offseason. That's how we lay the foundation for another successful season for your Denver Broncos. Either way, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon as well. Now, coming up next, we're going to get off of the futures contracts really quickly, and we're going to talk about some coaching vacancies because the Broncos have 4 major positions that they still need to fill, and it's been all quiet on the Western Front with our Mile High Broncos. So before we do that, though, I got to tell you about our friends over at Harry's. Listen, as the hairiest guy you know, cleaning up the beard for date night was a success, and I use Harry's every single day when it comes to my grooming essentials. If your old razor dulled way too quickly, if it irritated your neck, if it costs way too much, $30 for refills, come on, that's insane. You can get all of this for a fraction of the cost with Harry's. Harry's Plus is Harry's heaviest razor handle ever, made from metal, never plastic. Designed to fit comfortably in your hand. Heavier handle means more control and a luxe feel. They don't just make razors, though. They get a full line of grooming essentials, from shave gel to deodorant to body wash, all thoughtfully made and priced up to stock. For a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head on over to harrys.com/chat to claim this offer, and after you purchase, they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about us? Please support the show and let them know that Moose from the Broncos Breakdown sent you. So we got some openings right now on our coaching staff. Defensive backs coach, cornerbacks coach, quality control coach, and my most important one out of all of these. There we go. Wide receivers coach. Now, we fired Kerry Colbert because way too many drops. Second in drops in the regular season this year, only behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's one thing that I was not aware of, and I'm glad that I found out today. Peyton doesn't finalize all of these decisions until March. So we got a couple of weeks before we really figure it out. Now, that is a little bit late, but that's just how Peyton rolls. That's what he did last year. So I'm like, okay, at least we know now that he's doing his due diligence. He's going through everything. And obviously, in my opinion, when you see who the wide receivers coach is, that'll be very indicative about who the Denver Broncos go after in free agency or maybe even in the draft. But I've got a name that I want to throw out to you because you can't really search any of these guys, right? You can't really search who the next Denver Broncos wide receiver name is going to be or wide receivers coach name is going to be. So why not go get Emmanuel Sanders? Now, I'm going to explain what I mean here because a lot of people look at this and they go, whoa, you're just pulling names out of nowhere. Nope, not necessarily. First of all, Emmanuel Sanders still lives in Denver, still lives in Colorado, so he's not that far from the facilities. He's currently working as an NFL analyst for, I believe it's NFL.com or the NFL Network, one of the two. But obviously, Emmanuel Sanders playing with the Broncos from 2014 to 2019. He won a Super Bowl with them in Super Bowl 50 at a career high. His very best season, by the way, as a wide receiver came with the Broncos. 1,404 yards receiving in the 2014 season. So if we just go back and we look at all of the games he's played with the Broncos, what are his stats as a Denver Bronco? These are quite literally some of what I like to consider maybe not Hall of Fame numbers, but like Hall of really good numbers. 78 games played, 404 receptions, 5,000 yards receiving, 28 touchdowns, 130 rushing yards, and 6 rushing touchdowns, making 34 total touchdowns with the Broncos. That's pretty remarkable. That's an excellent, excellent NFL career. So I would be all over Emmanuel Sanders if I'm Sean Payton. Why? Well, he's got buy-in already with the fan base. He's got buy-in with the front office. He knows exactly what it takes to be a Denver Broncos wide receiver, and it quite literally can't be as bad as Kerry Colbert was when it came to the drops. So Emmanuel Sanders, knowing what he knows about the game, having played the wide receiver position before at the highest level with the team that could hire him, it just makes way too much sense. So go get Sanders back as a part of the Broncos and let these players flourish under him. I think he would be an excellent hire, an excellent hire. So if you agree with me, if you think that Emmanuel Sanders would be wonderful as the Broncos wide receivers coach, do me a favor. Give me a yes or no down in the comment section down below. If you're watching during our live show, you got to get down right now in the live chat and let me know. I want to see as many yeses as possible because I know you guys love Emmanuel Sanders because I love Emmanuel Sanders. All right, that's all I got on this episode, Broncos Country. A nice little reprieve from the rumors. I do realize that we have to get back to some news, but everything is kind of quiet right now surrounding the Denver Broncos, so it isn't the easiest to get news, but this is definitely one thing that we can talk about that's actually happened, not the Emmanuel Sanders thing, but that's just my opinion. I think it would make a lot of sense. Either way, that's all I got for you on today's episode of Mile High Salute for you. Be cool. Sweet.
We got $20
super chat from our guy, Coach Chris. Great to see you again, my friend. Thanks for joining. Coach Chris, that's a beer bong for me. 4, 5, And I told him I'd give him 10. There you go, Coach Chris. Just popping in to say hello. I'm already in Bronco withdrawal. Free agency can't come soon enough. Coach Chris, I'm right there with you, my friend. I need it to hit like crack. Not just for my job, but I need juice. That's exactly right. I need juice. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. By the way, jump on the mic real quick. I need to, let's test it out. I need you guys to give me a quick little mic check on producer Gage here. Let me know if you can hear him and how good the volume is here.
Mic check 1 2. How can you guys hear me? Mic check 1 2.
Go ahead.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you guys hear me? I hear a yes from Michael. Anybody else? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. I believe we're good to go. Moose, can you hear me through the headset?
I can't hear you through the headset, but I see your levels going. But I can obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, they can hear it.
Charlie Brown's teacher.
All right.
That's probably the
So.
yeah.
Allow me, I want to make an introduction here, Broncos country, really quick. We've got a brand new guy at Chat Sports. Just started about, a month ago? About a month ago? His name is Mike. Mike is a diehard Jets fan. Mike does not want to part ways with Breece Hall. So I'm going to have Mike jump on the mic here really quick in the producer chair. And we're going to go back and forth here about what we think it might take to convince Breece Hall to come to the Mile High City. Mike, why don't you do us a favor? Everybody welcome Mike. Type Mike down in the, there we go. He got his name up there and everything. Look at him. First ever live show. You are talking to 135 loyal Denver Broncos fans. Don't mess it up.
It's good to be here, Moose. I just want to say, Broncos fans, I picked you guys to win the division before the year. I love what you guys are doing. I love Bo Nix. Moose, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me out, man.
No problem, man. So, obviously, Breece Hall is a name that everybody has been talking about with the Denver Broncos, and we clearly have an interest in adding one of the best top 5 running back in the NFL, without a doubt. Wouldn't you agree?
He's about there.
He's right there. So, I think you're going to have to give him somewhere around $12 to $12.5 million in order to get him to come to Denver. Now, obviously, he's looking for a payday, but I think he wants out of New York because you saw his tweets during the Super Bowl. He knows he's not winning anything with the Jets anytime soon. So, your opinion real quick. Where do you think Breece Hall lands? And actually, let's start with this. Landing spots for Breece Hall. Give me 3 teams, and then ultimately who he ends up signing with.
I'd say you guys, the Denver Broncos, unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Boo.
With what's going on with Joe Mixon, who knows if he's even alive at this point. I'd say the Houston Texans.
The Texans is interesting. The Texans have recently come about as a team that has some interest in him. But I would also say God, I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen because, 1, I want him on the Broncos, but 2, that defense is terrifying. You know what I mean? If you add Breece Hall, if C.J. Stroud is just competent, go ahead, try it again now. Yeah, I can see you're fiddling with it real quick.
Yeah.
1 sec, guys.
You got to speak up louder. Okay. All right. I will do.
Coach Chris says there's no way he goes to the Texans. They do have some quality running backs, Coach Chris, but it looks like they're going to release Joe Mixon. If they do, we'll make a video. If they do, we'll make a video. Who do you think the Jets are going to end up drafting?
At 2.
At 2. Second overall pick.
If I had to bet on it right now, I'd go
Arvell
Arvell Reese.
Reese.
That's
Linebacker.
That's where it seems to be leading.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw him just in the first game against Texas. It just seemed like ever since that moment, he's been desperately top 5 pick. Jets have 2. They need help just about everywhere on defense. So
Yeah.
I'd say Arvell Reese for the Jets.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we got to jump back into our next segment here. Gage, if you want to get back into that producer chair, my friend, everybody shout out to our boy Mike, who is shadowing in on. So he's on track right now. He's going to be kind of a hybrid for us. He'll do some producing stuff. He'll also do some hosting eventually, hopefully, with the Jets channel, Jets Report channel. So everybody give a big shout out to our guy Mike. He's only been here about a month. And elite ball knower Former radio guy like myself. All right, Mr. Gage. Let's turn this down because I can oh, God. It's like I can hear my thoughts now. All right. Coach Chris, appreciate the $20 super chat, my friend. I'll do a beer bong at the very end of today's live stream. That's what we'll save it for, because I want to get through these cuts with a sober mind. Coach Chris, I agree, man. I'm going to be going to Denver this summer. I'm going to head out to Denver this summer and explore the city a little bit with my wife. All righty. We're getting some good draft news, my friends. Good draft news. I am ready. Push me through, my friend. All right, here we go. Give me a countdown, sir.
3, 2, 1.
It's not very often in February that we get to talk about good draft news. That usually comes about halfway through March and then really ramps up at the beginning of April. But here we are, Broncos country. Welcome in to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. The Broncos did just get some really good draft news in the 2026 NFL draft by way of some comp picks. We'll touch on that here in just a second, but I'm super excited for the draft. It's one of my favorite events in sports. This and the NCAA March Madness tournament alongside the Super Bowl are three of my favorite sporting events in the entire calendar year. I absolutely love the NFL draft. It is a time where all real football heads can gather around a TV and go ballistic over not actual football happening, but somebody going to your favorite team. It's just wonderful to talk about. And it's obviously a little bit earlier this year, April 23rd through 25th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So before we touch on the good draft news for the Denver Broncos, I need you to do me a favor. If you've got a favorite Broncos draft target, get it down in the live chat down below, as well as the comments of today's video as well. Make sure you're subscribed and tell me, like I said down below, I'll give you mine really, really quick. Denzel Boston from the University of Washington. Big-time wide receiver, 6'4", 215 pounds. He is the prototypical Sean Payton wide receiver. And there's a chance we land him at pick number 30. Now let's jump into the good news. The Broncos are set to get 2 comp picks in the 2026 draft by way of Javonte Williams, who ended up going with the Dallas Cowboys, and Riley Dixon, who went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we get those 2 extra comp picks. Broncos Sports Illustrated was on this to begin with. The Broncos could also gain or lose draft capital, by the way, depending on what they do in the trade market. We'll know more in the weeks to come exactly where the Denver Broncos will stand with draft capital once compensatory picks are finalized. So we could end up with even more, believe it or not, if we get active in the trade market coming up here in the next couple of days. Now, like I said, trades can be agreed to in principle starting as early as February 17th because, well, they could be done right now, but obviously you'll start to see some of this come along once players start to get tagged, and the tag window opens up on February 17th. Here's some bad news, and it's not necessarily bad news. It's actually good news for the Broncos, but we could have had one more, and it would have been a third-round compensatory pick by way of the Rooney Rule if Vance Joseph would have taken a head coaching job with the Arizona Cardinals. He did not, so we don't get it, but I get another year of Vance Joseph, so I'm not complaining. But that is something of note. We would have gotten one more compensatory pick, and it would have been a third-round pick. So here's what the main crux of today's video is going to be. I wanted to take the time to explore what you could do with some of these compensatory picks. What if the Broncos decided to package together something to move up in the 2026 draft? Now, only for specific players. I've got 3 of them that you would trade up for. Only 3, because at 30, it's going to be very, very hard to justify moving up without giving up the farm to go get somebody like a Jeremiyah Love, who you'll see on this list, by the way. That's just a little preview there. But I want to explore these 3 trade-up candidates in the 2026 draft. So, without further ado, let's get into the list. Obviously, I've seen this name so many times thrown out, so I have to put his name on the list. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from Oregon. He is someone that I would trade up for sure. I mean, the guy is just, he's a behemoth, man. Looks like he was chiseled out of marble. He's 6'3", 245 pounds, and quite literally looks like he was etched in stone. I mean, he's got probably a 5% body fat. The guy is just ripped. Now, the numbers don't necessarily do it justice for Kenyon Sadiq. You might look at these and go, these feel a little bit pedestrian, but he's anything but. The guy is an absolute freak of nature. He's going to be an excellent NFL player. Like I told you, at 6'3", 245 pounds, he moves like a gazelle for a tight end. He works the middle of the field excellently. Savvy feet, finds the soft spots in zones effectively, and he's got blocking technique that is willing but a little bit inconsistent. He's a little bit raw of a prospect. So I would expect him to really come into his own year 2 or year 3 of his NFL career, but obviously when you're drafting someone like this, you're making an investment in them, and he is definitely an investment that I would be intrigued in trading up for. The stats, like I said, though, in 14 games played, they don't wow you. 51 receptions for 560 yards. He did have 8 touchdowns, and he did have 6 drops. And the numbers during his career also indicate that, okay, maybe it wasn't like straight out of the gates, ready to play football. But look at the progression from years 1 to years 2 to years 3. He has more than doubled his productivity every single season that he's played college football. Now, I know everybody loves a comp player or a comp pick, so who does he remind you of, Moose? Well, there's only one player that I've really seen his game resemble that of, and that's Sam Laporta for the Detroit Lions. Big, hulking frame. Glides effortlessly. Maybe not someone that is going to be like... I don't know that I would compare him to Travis Kelce because I think he plays a little bit more physically, but Sam Laporta combines that effortless blocking and strength ability with the effortlessness of moving over the middle of the field, which is exactly what you want. And people forget, Sam Laporta, his rookie season, had over 100 receptions. So I could easily see him turning into the next Sam Laporta. Now, what are you going to have to do to go up and get Kenyon Sadiq? Because obviously it's a trade-up candidate, and he is one of those players that is projected to go between 15 and 20. Pick 15 and pick 20. So I believe the team that would end up taking Kenyon Sadiq would be the Carolina Panthers. So here's my trade proposal. You move up to the Panthers and you call them up and you say, hey, we'll give you the 2026 30th overall pick. We'll give you a 4th-round pick and both of our 2026 comp picks this year to move up to number 19. Now, I don't know that the Panthers would take this because if they've got their eyes on Kenyon Sadiq, they're going to say, hell no, get lost. But I do believe that this is a fair compensation. You get a pick swap, a 4th-round pick that we have, by the way, from New Orleans, so we have an extra 4th-round pick to give away. I think I would do this. Either way, you let me know in the comment section down below. Would you make this trade if you are the Denver Broncos? You get the 19th pick to go up and get Kenyon Sadiq, and the Panthers would receive our 30th, a 4th-round pick, and both of our comp picks this year. Now, obviously, we've got 2 other players on the list. So I'm going to give you my absolute favorite player currently in football coming up here in just a little bit. And spoiler alert, if you couldn't tell by the jacket that I'm wearing, he plays for the University of Notre Dame. Now, before we do that, I got to tell you guys about this amazing deal that we've got going on. You have got to get your Denver Drinking Team t-shirt while it's here. Limited time only. And why are you not celebrating St. Patrick's Day like every other holiday? We get our friends and family gifts for Christmas. Get your friends and family a gift for St. Patty's Day. It is absolutely a day to spend with friends. Only $29.99 right now to rep the very best Denver Drinking Team t-shirt. I'll be wearing mine as well. I'm going to have that for you in the comments and description of today's video. Or you can go to chatsports.com/DenverGreen. Again, that's going to be in the comments and description of today's video. Let's go to our second trade-up candidate. Jeremiyah Love. Oh. This dude is, like I said, my favorite player in all of football, every landscape of football, college or pro. He is my favorite. I have watched every single snap of this young man's career, every single one. Now, I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan, so that's why I say that. And there might be a slight bit of bias in when I talk about Jeremiyah Love, but let me tell you something. I have not seen a player move like this, and that includes Ashton Genty, in my entire life. Now, my extensive knowledge of college football only goes back to when I was a kid. So obviously I didn't get to watch Barry Sanders. I didn't get to really watch Adrian Peterson in college. I got to start watching college football and really getting into college football with recollection back when I was probably 9 years old. So I do remember a little bit of Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush was just as incredible as Jeremiyah Love. He is our version of Reggie Bush. Now, what about Jeremiyah Love jumps off the tape to you? He's a dual threat home run hitter with tremendous athleticism. The best part of his game, in my opinion, is his field vision. He sees holes that you have never seen before in your life. He averaged 6.9 yards per carry in 2025 and managed 21 scrimmage touchdowns in the 2025 season, including 4 touchdowns against Arkansas this last year. The guy's a stud. And in my opinion, just my opinion, he's a better prospect than Ashton Jeanty was. He really was. So if we go back to the 2025 season as a whole, 199 carries, 1,300 yards, 21 total touchdowns. He had 27 receptions for 280 yards. So we're looking at over 1,600 yards from scrimmage. And there were 3 or 4 games this year where Jeremiyah Love didn't take the field in the fourth quarter. That's how bad teams were how bad Notre Dame was blowing out those teams. One of those being Syracuse when we won 70-0. Shout out to the 2 Northeast guys over here. But the career numbers, they also don't really do it justice. Jeremiyah Love is ridiculous. He's ridiculous. 2024 was kind to him, 19 touchdowns, and 2025 was even better. And I even think that Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, didn't quite use Jeremiyah Love as effectively as he could because he split time with Jadarian Price. So Jeremiyah Love could have easily been a 2,000-yard rusher. He is going to be a straight out of the gates, year 1, 1,000-yard rusher. But, big but, you're going to have to trade up tremendously to get him. I expect him to go inside the top 10. In fact, I could see the Washington Commanders taking him at pick number 7. So you'd have to trade with the Cleveland Browns at 6 to go get him. So what do you give him? 2026 first-round pick, so a pick swap at 30. You'd have to give him next year's first and this year's fourth. Well, one of the fourths via New Orleans. But this would be a massive trade up. And yes, you would have to give up a 2027 first-round pick. And you might have to give up more than this, if I'm being quite honest. But for Jeremiyah Love, yeah, I'd do it. That would be the most dangerous quarterback-running back combo in the NFL with Bo Nix and Jeremiyah Love. Our final trade-up candidate, Makai Lemon, wide receiver from USC. A player that I regret to inform you because I am a Notre Dame fan. I hate USC. I can't stand that I love this guy. Like, he's excellent. He's such a good wide receiver. And I watched him demolish Notre Dame the last 2 years. And Notre Dame in 2024 had an excellent secondary. And Makai Lemon was able to find all of the weak spots against our secondary and just exploit the living hell out of it. He is excellent in almost every facet of the game, which we'll touch on here in just a second. But the numbers, pretty decent. 79 receptions, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, only 2 drops. He's got great hands. He only played in 12 games, by the way. So 12 games, he was over 1,000 yards. He was on pace for, if he made the college football playoff, 1,500 yards receiving. But what about Makai Lemon jumps off the tape? Excellent release to burst wide receiver with second-level acceleration. He's incredibly quick, maybe not vertical straight line speed that you're looking for like a Rashid Shaheed, but he's got a crazy deep route tree with soft, reliable hands, and he's quicker rather than he is fast. So off the line of scrimmage is really where he's going to beat you. He's not going to beat you, over the top sprinting downfield, but that's not going to be his game in my opinion. He's more of like the Jerry Jeudy with better hands, if that makes sense. Jerry Jeudy drops like a million balls. Makai Lemon does not drop balls. So you get the route running of a Jerry Jeudy, you get the hands of somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, and then boom, you combine that into one wide receiver, you get Makai Lemon. But again, another player that is predicted to go between 10 and 15. And all the mocks, shout out to producer Gage on the 1s and 2s who did the homework. All the mocks say that the Baltimore Ravens are very interested in taking him. So you'd have to trade up to 14 to grab that. So what do? You give him the 30th overall pick, you give him a third-round pick, and you give him both of our comp picks this year to get the 14th overall pick, moving up 16 spots. Again, you probably have to give up more than this, but I don't know that for Makai Lemon, I don't know that I'd be willing to give up more than this. Maybe you can convince me to throw in another fourth, one of the fourths that we got, like I said, from New Orleans, which I'm willing to move off from because we got it in the Devon Vele trade. Either way, I would make any one of these deals to move up to get one of these three players. That's all I got for you on today's episode. Remember to subscribe for more NFL draft content. It's going to start heating up as we get into the March days and the dog days of the NFL offseason. A reminder to hit that sub button, like today's video, and as always, mile high salute. Be cool. We got a DB4L Coach Chris. Bang! Shout out Coach Chris. $1 for every thumbs up. Moose likes the posh life, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Let's go Broncos. Coach, you're an excellent fan, my friend. I appreciate your commitment to this team, commitment to this channel, commitment to me. You are a legend. Everybody give a little round of applause to Coach Chris. What are the odds of getting Pickens and Breece Hall? Both of them? Slim. Slim. Very slim. But appreciate Coach Chris. We're going to make it rain for Coach Chris a little bit. Why not? Why not make it rain for the coach? Why not make it rain for the coach? What? Yeah, just like that. Boom, 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 boom. All right, my friends, we have one final segment to cover here, and it is all about John Franklin-Myers. How you feeling today, Producer Gage? Happy it's Friday?
I'm glad it's Friday, Moose.
Yep. 100%. Tag John Franklin-Myers? I wouldn't do it, but there is a article out there that claims the Broncos could if they wanted to. If we work some contracts, we could have $74 million. Yes, but the problem with that, Coach, is that if you clear up all of that cap to make room for $74 million, you are really putting your future in jeopardy with players that you might be willing to move off from next year. So I wouldn't clear up enough cap to get to 74. I would clear up enough cap to get to 50. Because right now we're at about 28 to 29. I would clear up enough to get to about 50 million. That's what I would do. Barbecue Legacy, he says he likes Jake Goldie. Golday or Goldie? He's a linebacker from Cincinnati. Have you heard of him? Once or twice? Fair enough. Fair enough. All righty, my friends. You ready to talk about JFM? Let's do it. All right, should the Broncos tag John Franklin-Myers? We'll touch on that here in just a moment. I'm going to have one more sip of my... You guys like my Broncos tumbler? There we go. My wife got me this.
Oh, really?
She did, for Christmas. Mrs. Moose got it for Christmas. All right, let's do this.
Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
A lot of people have been asking me the exact same question, whether it be on Instagram, social media, or in the comments section of our YouTube videos. What are we going to do with John Franklin-Myers? Well, I hope that this episode of the Broncos Breakdown, welcome in, by the way, my name is Moose. I hope this episode can shed some light on what's going to happen with John Franklin-Myers. Now, notably, a very important day is coming up here for the NFL. It's called NFL Tag Day. Franchise tag window opens up officially on February 17th of this year. It goes and stays open until March 3rd, meaning it's only open for 2 weeks. So if any NFL team is going to franchise tag any one of their players, they've got to get it done within this 2-week window. CBS Sports then came out this morning with a laundry list of players that could be tagged, one from each team. And surprise, surprise, CBS Sports listed John Franklin-Myers as the Denver Broncos tag candidate. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to tag John Franklin-Myers. It just means that out of all the players on the team currently, he is most likely to get tagged. Here's what the official article said about JFM and this franchise tag. Franklin-Myers has posted 14 and a half sacks over his last 2 seasons with the Broncos and was a central piece of Denver's arguably best defense in the league last season. His production makes him a candidate to be tagged, but the Broncos do have other needs along the roster and about $28.8 million to fill them. That could be reworked to get up to, like Coach Chris said, $74 million, which is a bit aggressive, but I think they can get up to 50. That could result in Franklin-Myers departing for a lucrative offer elsewhere. I did the homework. I decided to go out and find all of the cap numbers. Not the cap numbers, the franchise tag numbers. So here's what Spotrac projects as the tag numbers for each position. So in case you're unaware, the NFL does franchise tags by the position rather than by the player. So the quarterback tag is $47 million this year. The wide receiver tag is $28 million this year. Offensive line is $27.7. Linebacker is $27.5. Defensive tackle is $27.4. And then the other ones coming in, defensive end, which JFM is $26.7 million in that. So if you tagged John Franklin-Myers, it would be a $26.7 million cap hit, followed by cornerback at 20, safeties at 20, tight ends at 16, give or take, by the way, a couple $1 million here. And running back is 14.1 with kicking and punters being 6.8. But obviously, the franchise tag for John Franklin-Myers would be right around $27 million this year. What? I'm sorry. I just want to get this out of the way. Are we insane? Like, no. No shot in hell I'm doing this. John Franklin-Myers wanted $20 million a year, guys, and the Broncos wouldn't entertain a conversation during the season about his contract because he wanted 20. You're not going to franchise tag John Franklin-Myers for $26.7 million. By the way, current salary that he's getting paid right now is $7.5. Are you telling me you're willing to pay him $19 million more per year? Get real. There's no shot in hell I'm franchise tagging John Franklin-Myers for $26.7 million. You got to be outside your mind. Now, again, he's a good player. I don't want this to be a shot at JFM. Shout out to Mike in the room, who is a Jets fan, who knows all about John Franklin-Myers. He's a great player. And he's definitely found a niche and a role in this Denver Broncos defense. And he's a great 3-tech player. He had 39 pressures, 15 quarterback hits, 7.5 sacks, only 6 tackles for loss. I don't think he's worth even $16 million a year. I like JFM a lot. He's a more than serviceable 3-tech defensive lineman. I cannot justify paying him more than $15 million a year. If he were to come to me tomorrow, if I'm George Paton, and he were to say something along the lines of, I want to play for the Broncos next year, what does a contract look like? I would say 2 years, $25 million, 12.5 a year. And I'd put pen to paper tomorrow for that because he is a good player. I would like to have him back, but I'm not paying a franchise tag of up to $27 million. And I'm certainly not giving him a 3 or 4 year contract extension worth $45 million, guys. It's way too much for a player that we have plenty of options behind, who we'll touch on here in just a little bit, that can replace him. So I'll ask you this question. Should the Denver Broncos move on from John Franklin-Myers? Yes or no? Yes, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you let me know down in the comment section down below. Got to adjust my little headset here. Coming up next, I'm going to give you some JFM replacements for Denver. So 3 guys that I believe could fill this role. 2 of them are currently on the Broncos. 1 is a free agent himself. Now, before we do that, I got to tell you about my friends over at Harry's. Guys, if you're going to take any personal grooming and shaving advice from someone, it's Moose. My back has 5 o'clock shadow right now. But trust me when I say this, Harry's is the perfect product for you every single day. Why? They are better. If your old razor dulled too quickly, if it irritated your neck, if it costs way too much, $30 for refills, crazy. Harry's Plus is Harry's heaviest razor handle ever. Made from metal, never plastic, designed to fit comfortably in your hand and give you a more controlled and luxe feel. They don't just make razors, though. They've got a full line of grooming essentials, from shave gel to deodorant to body wash, all thoughtfully made and priced up to stock. All of Harry's blades and grooming products, by the way, can be delivered right to your door. Set your preferred schedule and never run out of blades again. So for a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head on over to harrys.com/chat to claim the offer, and after you purchase, they're going to ask where you heard about us. Please support our show and tell them Moose from the Broncos Breakdown sent you. Okay. Let's go over the JFM replacement options. Number one and most obvious, Savion Jones, our third-round pick, or one of our third-round picks in the 2025 draft. Now, one thing, or was he a fourth? Is he a third or a fourth? I don't know. Third or fourth, one of those two. Savion Jones barely played. And that's tough. It's tough to give him a grade on the year because it's more like it's incomplete. He only appeared in 3 games. He played a total of 33 snaps, 0 tackles. He did recover a fumble, by the way, which is kind of a unique stat. But his PFF grade was a 64.7 when he was playing, which is more than serviceable. So you've got to see what Savion Jones has in the tank. And that's just my opinion. It was a third-round pick. Am I crazy? I don't know why that's going to bother me. Mike, if you could look that up really quick. I'm going to stick with my original thought at third-round pick. But back to the point at hand. It was a third. I was right. Bang! I don't know why I second-guessed myself. You got to see what Savion Jones has. Because at this point, I don't want to call it a wasted pick because it's not, but it is an incomplete pick. So you've got to at least put the kid in more games, take more snaps, and see what he's got, even if that means as a rotational defensive lineman. Our second JFM replacement, Jordan Jackson, a player that played a little bit more than Savion Jones, had a little bit more of a rotational fit with the Broncos, and most notably when JFM went out for a game, I think it was one game, with that little hip injury that he had, Jackson came in and was more than serviceable. 5 games played, 7 tackles, he had 1 quarterback hit, and a PFF grade of 51.4. Maybe not quite as high of an upside as a guy like Savion Jones, but definitely a player that I believe could stay on this roster and definitely continue to give you the reps that you want at that position. He's played his way into more snaps, in my opinion. That's just the truth. Now, whether or not that means, a starting role, probably not, but does that mean that his uptick goes from 15% to 25%? Maybe. Absolutely. Now, I also believe that there's one other player that we could go after, and this is not a rotational guy whatsoever. This is a certified, you'd sign him to start him, and that's David Onyemata from Atlanta. Very familiar with David Onyemata. Onyemata is one of those players that can kind of hybrid as a defensive lineman and a defensive tackle if you needed him to, and had a pretty decent season this last year with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, he's not a pass rusher. I want to be very, very clear about that. He's not going to rush the passer effectively. He is a certified run stopper. 17 games played, very durable player, 63 total tackles, so hyper productivity on that defensive line. He's an every down defensive lineman. 7 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. He did get 21 pressures. Now, David Onyemata is also one of those players that has racked up multiple good seasons in the run-stopping game. In 2022, he had 5 tackles for loss. 2023, he had 6. 2024, he had 8. And 2025, he had 7, obviously. But take a look at something as well. 17 games played. 17 games played. 14 games played. 17 games played. The guy never gets hurt. And that's a very valuable asset to have. And speaking of assets, what about him as a player? Because you don't want to just look at numbers. Well, he is an alignment versatile in both even and odd fronts. So like I said, you can put him as a defensive tackle. You can put him as a defensive lineman. He can be a movement player on the point of attack or as an anchor. So he could just be a space eater if you wanted him to. No, just go back to that real quick there, Gage. That was 5 full screen, please. And like I said, he's an ass kicker up front. He's got leverage. He's got pop. He's got a wide base, and he's a violent player. Uses his hands well, uses his length well. He's a good block and scheme recognition player. He's kind of like JFM. if I'm being completely honest. He's not as good of a pass rusher as JFM, but if you wanted to get as close to JFM without actually paying for the sack production that JFM gets you, this is the guy to go get. Period. Point blank. David Onyemata is a cheaper version. You probably only have to pay him like $10 million a year. I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. And with the James Pierce Jr. arrest news in Atlanta, you could wonder that Onyemata might be willing to just get out of Atlanta right now while all of that nonsense is going on. Now, a lot of rumors indicate that he is interested in going back with Raheem Morris, who is now the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. So I think it could be between the Denver Broncos and the 49ers with David Onyemata. But again, who knows? We'll find out here in just a couple of weeks. Now, before we end today's episode, I do have to ask you very quickly, 30 subs away. 30 subs away. You could be the guy. You could be the girl. You could be the one to get us over 57,000. So if you want daily free agent videos, daily draft content when it comes time for it, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. That's all I got for you, Broncos country, on today's episode. Little mile high salute. Be cool. Booyah! All three done. All three done. Thank you, Coach Chris. What do the Broncos have to trade to get George Pickens or A.J. Brown? George Pickens would take a second-round pick. A.J. Brown would probably take a third at this point. What do you think? Second or third? Well, second for Brown? Probably okay. Yeah, I'll modify that. I'll modify that. Good call. Second-round pick for either one of them. You'd have to give that up. You think Troutman's gone this year? Probably. Probably. Michael, you're a legend, my friend. Thank you so much. Was a famous mountain name without Chicago way. He had a boogie sound that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. Did you know that if you sing too long on a live, you can get flagged for copyright? Yeah, so you got to be very careful. Yeah. Let's test it. Somebody give me a song. All right, I will leave this open for another 2 minutes. If you want to get your super chats in, I do owe a beer bong. So if anybody wants to, Mike, could you do me the honors and grab me a beer bong, sir? Here, I'll send you a quick little message about where to get them. Thank you, sir. While he's, so basically after I do the beer bong here, we'll end the live stream. Isn't Pickens a free agent? Yes, Coach, he is, but the Cowboys are going to franchise tag him. So the only way that you could get George Pickens is to tag and trade for him. Who would you trade up for, my friends? What player would you trade up for in the 2026 draft? Bo Prods, dude, I don't think we're going with JK. I don't want to bank on that. He's never finished a season fully healthy. He has not. Brandon Ayuk. I could see it. He's got bigger attitude issues than George Pickens does. The ghost, Phil Peep. The ghost of Phil Peep says the only person he's trading up for is Makai Lemon. When life gives you Makai Lemons, make Makai Lemonade. You know, what's funny is, you know how we've been doing merch? Didn't he say he wasn't injury prone? Yeah, he said he wasn't, but guys, he hasn't finished a single season. Not one. He's not had a 17-game season once in his career. You know what would be funny, Gage, is if whoever drafts Makai Lemon can literally say, we drafted a lemon.
Do the Killer City lemon law in that instant as well?
You could, technically,
You
yeah.
could say the lemon law? Yeah. Well, I think that's I would say for that situation, that's well worth it. He's definitely not a lemon.
We drafted a lemon.
We drafted a lemon. Love Alec Pierce, says Coach Chris. Yeah, he looked really solid for the.
Yeah, I also think I think he's going to get franchise tagged by the Colts. Yeah.
He would kind of help rejuvenate that offense a bit.
Yeah.
This past season.
Thank you, sir. Oh, God. You already filled it up, too. Shit. It's a nice thick one. It's thick with 2 C's.
Thick. I never heard that expression before about liquid, but there we go.
Thickwid.
Thickwid.
All right, here we go. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Gage. Happy Friday to everybody. This is for the pregame before Chili's. And that's how you know you're getting old, is you pregame to go to Chili's. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Chug, 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 chug. Get those chugs down in the comment section. Let's go. Chug, 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 chug. Bang! There we go, Moose.
It's a lot of liquid.
A lot of liquid.
Okay. Oh, yeah, turn that shit off. Oh, there we go. All right, my friends. Pre-game before Chili's, says Bo. Yeah. Well, that's how you know you're getting old, oh. There we go. That's how you know you're getting old. You pre-game to go to Chili's. Is that a urinal pan? Bedpan, baby. All right, my friends. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to post one of these videos coming out here very shortly. As always, Broncos country, mile high salute. Be cool.